Hi everybody, it's Chris here from the Gallowgateshots YouTube channel. Just to let you know, as always, this podcast is now part of the 90-Minute Football Network and proudly sponsored by www.pt-4-u.co.uk. Enjoy the episode. Hi everybody, welcome back to the Always Smiling Faces podcast on the Gallowgateshots YouTube channel. Everybody who is new to the channel, to the podcast, this has been quite something which we've been starting with quite often this season. Decker,
yeah.
say the magic words.
Well, won you now.
Get in.
Get in.
Did you forget there momentarily that we'd actually won again?
No, when I won the game, I just forgot to say it. I forgot I even said it. Sorry.
You're getting complacent with all these victories.
Oh God.
Okay. At what point?
38 them next season.
At what point do we stop saying that?
Never.
No, I feel like we'll have to at some point. Like it'll get embarrassing. I think, to be honest, we're just doing it every single week, twice a week.
So maybe when we win a trophy, you'll bring it back. Like
bring it back when we win a trophy.
So if you want to stop doing it,
okay.
And then if we want it, you'd have to bring it back for like especially.
Do you know what I feel? I feel as I will. Yeah, I feel as if we're on any, which we will, but we're going like on a rough patch of form.
Yeah.
I probably would then say it anyway. Like, you know, if I had lost 2 or 3 in a row, I'd be like, oh,
rough patches of
bring it back in relief.
Yeah,
rough patches of form are gone now, boys. This is it.
Yeah.
Right, let's just get straight in because we've got lots to get through tonight. So Newcastle United 2, Arsenal 0. Mark,
Spoiler alert.
just summarize that. Like,
Good luck, mate.
have you out of all the games this season?
I can do it in 2 words.
Well, that's clearly the best, isn't it? That's clearly the best game this season. Okay, that is one of the most memorable games I've experienced in a long, long time.
It was just amazing, wasn't it? From start to finish, to a man, they were all just absolutely brilliant. And I did worry after the first half of we're playing so well that we might struggle this second half because you generally see that, don't you? If you have a very good half, it maybe drops off or the other team picks up. Yeah. So I was a little bit worried, but dear me, if anything, we were even better second half. I honestly couldn't believe what I was seeing in front of us. It was just absolutely amazing, and as Besty's just said, it's just more of what's to come.
So, Bestie, one of the players I want to focus on here, and this is going to be all over the shop, as always, like we have done the last few weeks. If you've got any questions, fire them our way, and we'll go through them as often as possible. So, Callum Wilson, back in the starting 11, mate. And first of all, I want to start to say, yes, we all appreciated what Chris Wood did during that 9-game unbeaten run, especially, and what he's done since arriving in January.
Absolutely, yeah.
You can see the difference in quality.
Absolutely. One of the first things that happened was the ball went through. I forget who played it now, when it was Wilson up against, I think, Ben White, and he got in front of him, won the free kick, got him booked. And that was like 5-10 minutes in. And that's it. And then Wood, who's got his virtues, who has done a really good job. He wouldn't have been able to get to that. You know, he hasn't got the kind of. And Wilson's not exactly explosive. He's just quicker. He's quick enough. He got in front, got the free kick, and that straight away set the tone. But right the way through, stuff like that. I mean, even the goal, that was an own goal again. Ben White there. But
how long did it take you to work out it was an own goal?
Yesterday.
It wasn't until I think I saw it in WhatsApp. I think Clark said it's not an own goal. I was like, oh, it is. I think I checked.
Because mine was the night time. I think I put in like 1 in the morning, and I'm watching the game again. It's an own goal.
Even watching the replays, I'm like, well, he's clearly scored because like it was like every angle was like 3 or 4 angles. Well, what do you mean he hasn't scored? And then there was one angle from kind of the left-hand side from behind the goal, and
it's clear as day.
It is an own goal.
A good yard at him, like but he's on the shoulder. It's causing bother. If he's not there doing that, making a nuisance of himself, and that's what he does. He makes a nuisance of himself. I listened to True Faith's like kind of review thing yesterday. I was on a walk, and they were saying that when
listen to this one first if you haven't done that. Like stick with this one.
In this, well, I'm going to tell him what I said now, and he's only listen.
He hasn't said if it was good yet.
This was only good bit. It was. They said that Wilson, and all right, he fouls people but wins free kicks in the process. Remember when you see Shola just jump up in the air, and Andy Carroll jump up in the air, arms down, and give a free kick against him? Callum Wilson gets fouled whilst fouling somebody.
Very much like a certain other number 9 that we used to have.
I'm assuming that you're going with Frank Pingle.
Obviously.
Does he have a number 9, Frank Pingle?
I believe he did.
No, but no, he was. I mean, that shot from. We've got to come to it at some point. That when he takes it on, it doesn't even bounce off his chest, off his knee. It volleyed over, and I was convinced.
It was like Shearer against Evan, but he set himself up for it.
It was about 3 times the distance out. But he was like
the viewer out on that one because I was on the side. Like,
what did you think of it at the time, Chris?
I was on a piss.
You were what?
I was having a piss.
Oh no!
In the bar, did he just kind of warm himself up? Like?
I never ever leave to have a piss mid-game, but what a canny few drinks before kick-off, and I couldn't hold it any longer. And to be fair, I think there was a stoppage in play, and I thought I can easily get back in a couple of minutes. Yeah. Then I came back and Mark Groters went, "You almost missed one of the best goals I've ever seen."
It was unbelievable.
Well, it was one of those ones where you kind of, because of the angle I'm at as well, I was like, "Is it going in there?" So I saw Ramsdale. I thought, "Shit, if he's going for it, it's either going in or it was the latter where it's kind of flashed half of 6 inches wide, whatever it was." Like, but
I don't even think it was that.
If that goes, because you see how much it bends as well, because
it was into 90% of the way, wasn't
it? And it's kind of like that, and you can see it just started taking just a little bit better next time, Callum. Do better next time.
I'll put a tweet on the day deck, and that third angle that you keep on seeing
from behind,
I still think that's going in the net. Like, my brain still thinks
it's like
I'll see the net.
It looks like it's going straight in, doesn't it?
Kazan, you're in 96.
I retweeted that one, seeing this in the last replay, which was the third replay of. He was an absolute boss as well in that moment. Like he's got his guys hanging on. He just brushes him off almost like Les Ferdinand-esque for me. And, and then obviously has the ambition or the audacity, if you like, to see. Well, obviously you see the goalkeeper off. He's like his awareness, and then obviously take that attempt on. It's incredible.
You get as close as he did
honestly,
as well.
Like, it's unreal. Just to touch on the game itself, like honestly, I felt at the start of the game, I said to my dad, I was like, we're 14th in the Premier League here, man. Like, and look at it, man. And like as the game went on, obviously we've all had moments, throughout the years and that, like, but it was one of the most proudest moments of me following this club, like, was Monday night. Honestly,
absolutely, yeah,
it really was. I just
those lads around me getting quite emotional at the very end and stuff, but it was incredible. From the start. I mean, we looked. If you didn't know football, you didn't know who Newcastle were, who Arsenal were, and you said one of these teams has got to win to have a chance of finishing fourth, you're kind of like, that's a black and white.
Yeah.
Like
it looked like a top of the table team and a bottom of the table team, didn't it?
Yeah, I mean, they were poor as well. I mean, we were really good. They were desperate, like in mitigation. But yeah, we were just from the get go. From when Wilson got white booked, there was a few offsides early on, and
that's right.
We just got at them.
You're right that they played that ball over on the yellow card. There was actually 2 before that where I thought he was onside. Obviously, I'm probably being biased at the time watching it live.
It was just off that way.
And you're like, maybe that is going to work because you know what I mean. We're going to hurt them here, and
with a bit of sharpness back in his game. I mean, obviously, it's pre-season's coming up and all that. I think if he's still first choice and all that come next season, because who knows what's going to happen this summer. Full pre-season, good and fit, keep him fit. He's in that situation again. He's onside. I think. I think he's a bit rusty.
There's a comment just came in there that's saying after that performance, he deserves another crack next season.
Oh, absolutely.
I don't think we've ever been in any disagreement with that. I think our main concern with Wilson was fitness. Absolutely. How many games are going to get out of him?
Because and I don't mean to sound an arse here, but like I did say the week before, like when we sat here, I said like, well, we'll see when Wilson comes back. I was a bit harsh actually because I said, well, we'll even forget who it was because that's how good Wilson is. And like to a degree, like when you see what he brings to the team, everyone's better with him in the team because of his movement, his runs, his hold up play. He's got everything. He's got everything. And
he was given the captain's armband as well.
Yeah, he was. Even the chances he missed were chances that we weren't creating.
Which weren't.
That volley that you put over the top when Bruno chipped it back just after the goal. That was.
I think Bruno was almost trying to play for a corner, wasn't he? Like to hit it off, it actually just seemed to get through. And what an attempt that was!
The little chip through by Longstaff when he Bruno's goal, and that's stuff that there are chances that we weren't getting without him in the team. And again, not to kind of disparage Wood, I do like Chris Wood, but it's just that's the difference between the two. Different type of player, but a better player as well.
Just on the back of what Chris was saying, we've all said that Wilson, I would hope get another chance, but he may get. It's his injury record.
Yeah.
For me, if we are going to sign someone, which we clearly are, has to be like for like for me. I'm not saying we'll get someone Wilson's complete
Callum,
quality,
yeah.
but I mean the same style of player.
Yeah.
Because Wood's so opposite. It's unbelievable.
Well, Wilson, he's quick,
Yeah.
he's strong. He's like, I see you said it as Ferdinand then, that's probably a really good. Ferdinand was probably better, or was better in the air, but he was quick, he was strong, he'd hold the ball up.
He that
was a
performance
bit
was,
of a poacher
Ferdinand,
as well.
wasn't it? It was.
I think one of the things that we haven't really mentioned and picked up on before with Wilson's injury record and stuff like that is the facilities that we currently have at this football club aren't very good for this sort of player who has reoccurring muscle injuries and things like that. Going forward, and the proposed plans for the revamp and the extension of the current training ground, hopefully that'll bring more sort of equipment in for recovery purposes, which might work in Wilson's favour as well.
But he had to go to Bournemouth, didn't he? With the injury last season, or the season before last, maybe. So he's I would imagine that's got to be kind of one of the most important. I've seen the plans, and they're going to move the changing rooms around and stuff. They're going to have that kind of L-shaped extension on the left-hand side as you look at it. But yeah, you'd imagine that part of that has got to be a proper rehabilitation, recuperation suite, if you want to call it that, and the employees that come with it, the doctors, the sports scientists, the physiotherapy, because that's just it feels like a really basic thing, a requirement for a Premier League club and a Premier League club who want to progress to have. If you've got to. I'm not going to mention Football Manager here, but you kind of do. You go right, get me backroom stuff sorted out straight away, and it's not as simple as that, but surely the same kind of logic applies where you go, right, but here's what we're lacking, so here's what we need to. If Wilson's having these repeated injuries or this repeated problem, muscular injuries, how do we mitigate for that as best we can? You can't necessarily prevent it, but you can make the rehabilitation better.
Yeah.
And maybe you can, to a certain degree, prevent it to an extent.
And I think that on the plans it said they were putting in like a pool and they were putting in the ice
Hydro
baths and all of that
pools,
kind of thing as well, which for those type of injuries where you don't want to have the impact and stuff like that, that's perfect.
Well,
it's the best way to get back to fitness.
Still, you,
I've already had that.
Marty has said,
Metro Marty.
Metro Marty,
Metro Marty.
Nice,
Even Marty.
Lovely Marty.
has said, do you think that we'll have a new dental room in the new facilities as well?
I tell you what, he must have some dentist like to be in the following morning. None of this waiting around for months and months.
It helps when you're on the 80 grand a week.
I went, Neil's in Dubai now. That could be me. I'm a job.
I didn't know that obviously until half time, until someone sent us a photo. I can't even really remember it at all.
The
To be honest.
discoloration in the tooth as well from that
it's
photo.
just
It's come
awful,
flat
isn't it?
straight over
Yeah.
the top of it.
It's really bad.
They've just launched
Just
it
getting no
back in.
blood into it. There's no blood flow, so it's just busy dying off.
In the
isn't it? But-
interview that he does on the pitch when they're doing the last one,
he's
it's
whistling and
fucking
he's
tooth.
listening.
He's talking out.
Yeah.
But it's when you can see him like in the jumping massively ahead in the video of the walk around the pitch. You can see he's like constantly like feeling that his tooth pushing it back into place.
I've
and
not watched
stuff
all
like
that yet.
Are you not seeing
No,
it?
no.
Oh, Ben, get a tissue
I really
ready.
want to. Is it that good? Is it good? God.
Jesus.
But both ways, both ends, you'll need a tissue.
Heavens.
A couple of other players I want to go through. I want to go through.
Hello.
Jesus Christ.
Lord.
Yeah, mate, it's all going downhill. Yeah, isn't it?
I tell you
Can we
what,
better get an X-rated on the video for
I'm not
this?
even lying either. So I want to
No holds barred and
mention
uncut.
the two Brazilian lads once again, Joelinton and Bruno. I'm at the point now where I'm struggling to figure out which one's the better one. Does it have to be a better one, or they're both just fucking unbelievable?
It has got the point now where I struggle to identify which one's which on the
That is
pitch.
It's a bit more tricky now, isn't
They've
it?
got
With
the hair.
matching haircuts.
Yeah,
I thought Joe was unbelievable.
he was phenomenal.
but all of them were. But
Yeah.
obviously you're on about them two, and Bruno was outstanding as well. Honestly, as Joelinton at times was incredible. Like
I've thought
Incredible.
pretty much since he went into midfield, right, that when we've got a bit more money, come to transfer windows, whatever, he's going to be one of the ones that gets replaced early on. And I'm thinking now, is he? Like, I don't think it's a temporary, like a stopgap, because I kind of always saw it as that a little bit.
aye.
It's been when he's out of position, really. And then I watched it, I read this thing on Twitter this week. Someone from a couple of years ago was saying that when he was at Hoffenheim, he played best as like a link between the midfield and up front. I can't remember the count's name, so apologies for that. And he really didn't think about he's seen this. And we scouted him 24 times, was 24 games, I think was the number, before he signed. And we played him immediately. Oh, yeah, number 9, centre forward, out of position. And like that, how can the scout someone see what he's doing? I don't think Stevie Nixon's a bad head scout or there's something wrong with the scouts. It's how he was being used.
I can tell you exactly why.
Well, I don't want to say the bloke's name.
That's exactly
I'm
why.
I'm trying to do put the pass behind the thing and all that. There probably will be a point later on, but yeah, like, and he was. You must have this data. You must have this thing to say. Here's where he plays. Here's his heat maps. Because
Don't believe in data.
2019, you remember saying 2020, so all this information is available.
I know who you were pointing at, but I'm not so sure it was his fault. Like, if I have to be fair, yeah, like
He's the man that picked the
I
team.
think partly like he's got to be.
well, maybe as time went on, I'd say, but not immediately. I mean, we signed him as the number 9, and he was already coming in
Well, what I'm
before he
saying
even
is,
took
they've
charge.
watched him for 24 games at Hoffenheim where he's played in this position. Where someone on Twitter has identified.
He always played
Here's
with
where
another striker. I
Yeah.
sat here and said that umpteen times.
Yeah, but to be a centre midfielder, the one.
You know, I am a Bundesliga expert.
Well, true.
As we all know.
If you wanted to be a bit of a dick as well, you could say Eddie Howe went for this job interview with a proposal on every single player. It wasn't highlighted there that Joelinton wasn't a striker and he should have been playing in centre midfield.
Absolutely not.
That was sheer chance.
How do you know?
It was just utter luck.
Oh, well,
Even
no.
Howe said that as well. You know, it was just sheer luck.
Kieran
Clark sent off, wasn't it?
Eddie, I wasn't bad now.
And I go to what Bessie said. Like, even I worried, but like thought, all right, he's done great the last couple of games.
Yeah.
But he'll eventually I hate to say this, but like the Joelinton that we've seen over the last 18 months, he'll come back out again to play.
Aye.
And it's
Wash your mouth out.
Yeah, no, hey.
Will not happen.
And it's
Wash
no,
your
never,
mouth
no,
out.
no. This is it.
Mind
This
he's
is it.
still, for a man who was signed, given the number 9 shirt as a striker, he still, when the ball falls over the edge of the box, you think like, oh, well, never mind. There was one in
It
that
was only
game
the
where
Norwich game, I think,
he
where
swung a foot in it, it went up in the air.
yeah,
He had a shot at
100%.
his own head in the box a few weeks ago.
He had a very good chance. Actually, the one where I think Wilson again was battling away. And
Yeah.
it just bounced. And he was half chance. He was on the edge of the box. He blazed
Yeah,
it
that's
over.
what I was
It
thinking
was a
of.
good chance. That
But
one.
then there was one with the left foot that got cleared up. That looks like he caught it quite well.
He did.
That got-
And I was going to reference that actually when there was the first half where they were shooting towards Leeds. Obviously, there were certain moments in the game where like he was an absolute battering ram. Like he was just solid. His touch was brilliant. His link-up play was excellent. There was a ball where Shea played like across field. It was a lovely ball to him.
Yeah.
He was linking up play really well. And that he like almost just bulldozed his way through and then had that shot, as you just mentioned. I was like, and that got the crowd up again. And I sent me down. I absolutely love him. Like he's just
What-
I do. Aye.
What do you think he's currently worth in this market right now? If you had to put a figure, you can't say there's no price. If you're going to sell Joelinton, what is the asking price?
well, me head,
Newcastle United's player of the season.
me heart says
Yes, aye. Yes,
that
yes.
it has to be more than what we signed him for. But me head probably says it isn't.
I don't know, you know.
If
I
I'm
think
honest.
I think it is.
we've all sat here maybe a year ago, 6 months ago, whatever. And I'm sure that I've said, oh, yeah, you get 10 million for him.
Oh,
when
I
he
did.
was, but
Right,
now
yeah.
I think you get more than 40 million from him,
Yeah.
which sounds ridiculous.
Well,
But
that-
mind the
yeah.
same, for a long time we thought 40 was a rip off for him, which it turns out it wasn't. We've absolutely had Leon's eyes out for Bruno. Like he's not a 40 million pound footballer, 35, whatever it was.
Oh no, God,
He's one of his feet, maybe his hair dyes maybe worth that. Like, he's just a wonderful.
He's
player.
It just makes us feel warm inside every time we talk about him and the fact that we've signed him and we've got him.
Aye.
So the player that highlighted in his announcement interview, which he done with the club, is that don't expect goals. I am not a goal scorer. He is second top goal scorer at this football club.
He's
only arrived
scored
in
more
January.
goals for us in half a season than he has in his career. Like
Up to this point,
it's
like,
So that's
it's
five.
mental.
That's 5. Now,
Mental.
considering he didn't start until God knows how many games after
Mhm.
he arrived, he scored 5 goals.
And there's been some important goals. The Leicester one stands out. Last kick of the game to win the game.
Header, yeah. He's got,
Um,
he got both. He got because he.
Oh, he did. Of course, he did.
Yeah,
Sorry,
yeah,
yes,
back
of course
heel,
he
yeah.
did,
as well. Aye.
And that's why I was always saying he's far too good just to be wasted sitting in a defensive holding midfield role.
He's, and Deck, I think you mentioned this before, that people feel as if you've got to put a midfielder in a certain category. He's everything. He's literally the ultimate midfielder.
He's just like this generation's Robert Lee.
Oh, I was going to actually say similar. Yeah,
Right.
he really, really is. I absolutely love how confident he is on the ball under pressure. Like there was a few times, even on, for a little lad as well. Like he just knocks people off the ball. There was a few times where
So strong.
there were like he had the ball. Now I never get rude. There's certain players when they get the ball, I'm fine with, right? And he got the ball and he was getting pressed a bit, and the lad just fell out. The lad literally
Yeah.
just bounced off him, and I'm like, eh.
That was
Like-
that's probably the one I was thinking. Oh, but he plays out towards the Milburn, and the lad's trying to tackle him halfway, and he just.
I just know you're not happening. But again, he done a
To touch in our box. where he just whips it
Oh,
around the
yeah.
Arsenal player.
Yes.
I would nothing.
Do you know? Because again, them are the, you know, it wasn't, but like if he times that wrong, that flick, he hits the man, it's a penalty. Bottom, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the way they did it was fantastic. And he drives it out and wins the foul, which was
Yeah,
fantastic.
that's
You know what I
bad,
mean?
yeah.
He didn't just smash it away; he carried it out.
Is he the calmest player you've ever seen at this football club? He just literally never panics.
Sure,
Ever.
that was pretty calm.
For the wrong
He
reason.
does remind us of Cabaye a lot in that regard. Cabaye was so calm.
He's
Like,
a chippy little bastard.
He was a bit more rash, I
He was
thought.
very
Cabaye,
rash,
yeah.
Cabaye.
no, no. What I'm saying in terms of calm though, like he collect the ball under
Yeah,
pressure and he
on the
wouldn't give
ball,
a shit.
yeah.
He wouldn't care. Do you know what I mean? And I'll say this again. I still say Shelby's a lot like that. Like he didn't care. Like you give him the ball under pressure, and I'm not saying he won't give it away, but he certainly doesn't look like he's panicking over it.
There were a few times, even away from the midfielders, when Arsenal, because they started in the second half, they pressed quite high. In fact, not in the first half it happened because we're playing towards the leaders. And Shea had it, Dan Burn had it, and I will play back the Bravcats, are we? There's no, we'll square it, we'll play it out, Emil. There wasn't a point where, very few times where they went, I've got to hit this. There was always a ball on and they just went, there you are, have that.
A few things that I sent me dad early on, right, that I was absolutely thrilled with, right? I got probably three things here, and I'll shut up, I promise. First thing is when them got a goal kick, I kept doing my dad, put your hand down, I know what you mean. I kept saying, look at this square here, Dad. There were 6 of our players in the square all the time.
It was very similar to Chelsea.
And every single time we won the ball back from their goal kick, literally immediately we're getting it back because there's nothing they could do. If they went short, we'd press them anyway. If they tried to go a little bit long, we just won it anyway. It was unbelievable that. I loved it. And I kept saying, look at this 6, look at this 6. Second one was how calm every single player looked on the ball. Like everyone. Sometimes I've wanted to see us playing. I honestly have thought, God, some of these don't even know how to play football, you know?
Yeah.
Every single player looked confident on the ball. And the third thing I want to say is Longstaff in that position that he played there was absolutely phenomenal.
He was excellent.
And the amount of times he got beyond Almiron and even Wilson sometimes, Miggy was having an option of craft that way or Longstaff ahead of himself. It was unbelievable. It was absolutely unbelievable.
I think it's gone unnoticed as well of how well Sean Longstaff does for our second goal because the ball comes back. I think Bruno takes the shot and the ball comes back and he just shields the ball. He just stops, then puts Wilson through.
He does a little turn. It was Bergkamp-esque. He took the ball and turned like that, and then.
Did you?
Yes,
I thought. I think he would have, but there was a man in front. But what a very clever pass it is.
Maybe he's a little bit over.
Little dink.
Well, it's been.
I think it's been harsh. That was meant to be the guy.
Honestly, it was
unreal.
It was a
unreal
fantastic ball. Just the presence. There was one in the first half where Bruno. It might actually be Longstaff that played the ball. They were in their box. He's 20 yards out, and the obvious ball's Miggy, or maybe he's Kraft on the wing. And he just goes through the defenders. They show Longstaff.
Yeah,
and it was similar to that where he's had the presence of mind. Just go, that's yours. I'll just play that. You got a ball.
It's a great ball. The only way the ball is getting through is with that pass for him. So for him to have that awareness and the skill to do it was just beautiful.
Well, hopping
amazing
all over the game here, but something you're on about the players kind of under pressure and the touch and stuff. There was one that I saw during the game, and I watched the game again on Tuesday morning. It happened, I've not seen it referenced since. It was one where the ball comes over and targets under it, and he controls it, and at the same time knocks it through, I think, Tomiyasu's legs.
Oh, it's beautiful.
It's unreal.
It was
just lovely, perfect little touch. There you are, through your legs.
Yes.
Him and Target and Saint had Tomiyasu on toast.
Well, they say when
absolutely ruined
Saint dummied him and you made him fall over.
Now that you've mentioned him, because I didn't think I would, I thought that was one of Saint's better games in terms of his performance.
Team player.
Mate, honestly, that might be the best I've seen him play. As a team player.
As a team player, yes. That's yes, I thought that.
He's been more spectacular, but some of the stuff he did, just laying the ball off.
The ball off.
The ball to Joelinton for the first goal down the line.
When I watched the game when I got back in, and I watched it again Tuesday, the third time I watched the game, I just wanted to watch him.
That guy does have a job, you know.
Yeah, it's watching Newcastle. I think I've watched more after games than Bruce ever did, to be honest. And I was watching Maxi, and honestly, every time I was like, that's mint he's done that. That's really good he did that there.
Yeah.
There was another one where it looked like a lost cause, but he chased it down and managed to get in front of someone, done a little bit, just to sort of hold the play up, and then he gave it straight to target.
Yeah.
There was another one where the ball came into him, and the old Saint would 100% control it and try to beat everyone. First thing he did was whip it in. The very first thing he did was whip it in. The second half, he didn't really do anything, to be fair, at all. I can't really, apart from Central down the line, but it was a quiet
game, which he wouldn't normally have done.
That, would he?
But we didn't have the ball as much in the second half. We gave Arsenal the ball and said, right, well, you can come and beat one now.
Yeah.
And that's how, because the first half, Arsenal played like we played for 2 years prior to the takeover at the time, where the team would attack and we'd kind of cling on somehow, slice the ball clear, loads of long balls out of defence to play. And then they would try and break with Saka, would got some joy down the right early on. I see early on first half. But then Newcastle in the second half said, we have the ball and we just controlled it. Even without the ball, we were...
I think what we'll have to mention as well is how well Saint was, but credit to Miggy over the other side.
He was
Because
brilliant.
if Miggy's having a good game, then that just means Saint's going to obviously have more space to do what he wants to do.
And he did have loads of space, because there's a lot of times in the first half, it was between Kraft, Miggy, Bruno, Longstaff. It seemed to be the same four. And Saint was on his own on this side, got loads of times, but they didn't just give him it for giving him its sake.
They just couldn't handle the amount of quality that we had dotted all over the field. And just to touch on Miggy, player that we've criticised Miggy and his end product, and the only thing he's really bringing to the team is work rate and things like that. We've seen a completely different player in the last couple of games there, Mark.
Yeah. He's just very much like Saint was. It was a mature performance and a much more all-round performance around that, the kind of the way that he approached the game, and not just being that headless chicken that's sometimes thrown at him. He was much more involved. He was making himself available for it, carrying the ball, giving it and passing it. And I think having the centre three of Wilson, Bruno, and Joe, they just bullied everybody in the middle of the park and really put them all under pressure, which then freed up Saint and Almiron on both the wings every time.
There it is.
Every time.
Every week.
What do you do?
End of the season, tear it up.
I'm always animated with my hands.
Ironically, that is it's a picture.
I was just helping them do
a drawing.
Somersault.
That's right.
But they just having that amount of space and time just brought out the best in both of the wingers, and it's just great to see.
I totally agree, and what I'd also say as well, and it reference to what I kind of said before, is a lot of times with Miggy and Saint, right? There's a lot of solo runs used to happen forward, right, where they would get the ball and just charge, right?
Yeah,
and they'd be totally isolated, right? Totally, right? And Miggy would lose the ball, or someone would say, "Oh, it's the wrong pass." Yeah, but he probably only had one man up there with him. What I see now is when Miggy's collecting the ball, first of all, he's collecting the ball in their half. He's not picking it up deep and having to run the full length of the field. He's picking the ball up in their half, but there's so many options for him. And as I referenced again, Longstaff was getting beyond Almiron, honestly, all the time. For example, one of the first half chances where Ramsdale spills it. It's exactly Longstaff is again beyond Almiron. I think it's Bruno that slips him in at that point. And
that's when I was.
Yeah, it was a beautiful pass, like reverse pass. And it's it's just having Kraft as well bombing on. He did it in the second half where I think it was quite late on as well. He picked the ball up at right back, ran almost the front of the field, give it to Miggy. Miggy gave him a straight back, and we're in. We're literally in.
Well, right at the end, obviously we had Murphy and Fraser came on as a sub, and the pair of those went through on goal in the
absolute chuckle for that moment from them too.
It was just a little bit. It was
they couldn't figure out who wanted the ball.
It was Murphy's ball. The Fraser was
too early.
A little bit behind him.
Too early.
I think maybe maybe it was a second or two too early as well. But
it was behind him that killed him. Killed the move, didn't it?
It killed some momentum. But then I thought they both did well when they came on as well. I think Fraser probably, although it's a really good save by Ramsdale, that one where Gale plays him in right at the end. Should probably put that away. But
it wasn't. You think of the chances as well of it. And sorry to go right back. Maxi had the first chance. I think.
Yeah.
He physically got inside. It was a very good effort as well. He did a great save down low.
I think Miggy comes close to closing Ramsdale down as well.
It goes across the goal early on.
He was falling over a lot, Ramsdale.
Early on.
We were talking about that one, like as if he had his plimsolls on.
His first 4 kicks, it's like he forgot to put his boots on.
Yeah.
But even from the kick, which I thought was strange, from the kickoff, they actually played the ball straight back to him. And he was almost playing in a number 4 role. Like he was that far up the pitch, played to him. And he goes to kick it, kicks it, and just falls straight over from the kickoff.
It was twice in the first minute. Twice the first minute and 40 seconds it happened, I think it was.
We'll be here all night. We'll go through every individual performances. But just another highlight, I think Lascelles coming on, he done a great job.
Very good.
Lascelles came on.
He was nasty, hard, nasty.
He literally knocked the soul out of somebody at one point.
He really did. Even I went because it was in front of me, and I went, and I thought it looked quite bad, to be honest with you.
Not seen off the Matrix where they just brain him in the chest and his body just leaves him. That's what. They were just on the deck.
Avengers Assemble, isn't it? No, the last Avengers film where I
can't remember.
Where Tilda Swinton belts the Hulk and he comes out the back.
Yes, that mate.
I
think it's on the Matrix as well.
I think it's something that was a Matrix.
Every time there was a long ball, like from the goalkeeper, for example, he was absolutely through the back. if whoever it was.
I think
Did you worry when Shea went off? Like, because we were so going back to what you said, where Burn and Shea were very, very comfortable in possession. You know what I mean? When Shea went off, I thought, I'm not gonna lie, I did go, oh, Lascelles is coming on now. Will that change it at all?
I was a little bit not worried, but I thought like it's more likely.
I think
And
there's a
Lascelles
lot
still-
of that defensive setup.
You can still see Lascelles isn't as comfortable on the ball as
Of course not.
Shea or Burn, or even Fede Fernandez.
There was only one moment where I thought, that's the old Lascelles, where I think them knocked it forward, and he had all the time in the world to bring it down, and he headed it back.
Yes, I am.
We lost the ball and then went on a bit of a break, and I was like, that's what we always used to
that's
do.
what we didn't.
Whereas Shea or Burn would have took the session started again. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's just-
but he was
brilliant.
He did play really well.
No, not there.
Aye.
I want to mention with two wing backs as well. Emil Kraft, another great game. Matty Target, another great game. He does an interview on the pitch and he basically says, everybody knows what I want. It's out of my hands. He wants to stay. It's clear he wants to stay.
Gabriel Boglahor doesn't know what he clearly wants.
Yeah, so he commented on his Instagram
Instagram, wasn't
saying, remember, don't get carried away. Remember, you're a Villa player or something like that. Get fucked.
Go to Brentford instead.
It was lovely chanting from him as well, wasn't by the fans. It was lovely chant. They were chanting it quite a lot.
Yeah.
You know what I
It was
thought?
nice.
And I almost felt sorry for him. I thought it was like we took that corner and it felt like we haven't got a proper chant for you, so we're just going to do this one Matty Target.
It was all
But
right.
it would fit in and they did it
nice.
on the lap of honor at the end. It was nice.
It was
Aye.
nice, yeah.
Yeah.
It was
Aye.
nice.
What would your Matty Target chant be, Bestie? If I'm putting you on the spot right now.
I'm gonna grab a beer.
I've been trying to think of an Emil Kraft one as well, but I cannot because we do recycle an awful lot. Callum Wilson gets a ball, scores a goal, and all that. Like, hey, Callum Wilson, I don't know.
Kieran Trippier, still
On
Ryan
the wall,
Taylor's.
yeah. One for Target.
We'll give you some time to think about
Thank
that
you,
one.
if you wouldn't mind.
Hey, Matty, you're so fine. You're so fine. You blow my mind. Hey, Matty.
Right, you try and get 50,000
Hey,
people
Matty.
chanting that, mate.
Hey, Matty.
Hey, Matty.
Hey, Matty.
Hey, Matty. I would say about the one that Kevin Little came up with. Shea Given.
Yes, I think you have mentioned it before.
Brutal.
Absolutely
brutal that was.
It is 1-0 Rangers, by the way.
Oh, is it
That's
one
it,
now? Is
yeah.
it? Oh, I was just putting it back.
As long as you don't spoil Derek Girls for us, like, I'm all right.
Oh, it is
All
one
right,
of the
okay.
Rangers. Bloody hell.
What I want to mention, performance of the weekend goes to War Flags.
Oh, aye, absolutely.
Is Monday the weekend?
Yes, it is when you're
The
out
game
on the
week.
drink all day.
Isn't that the start of the week?
No, performance of the week. It's because they were grafting all weekend. That's where I was leading from that one. So they started grafting on Friday
That's a good save,
evening.
that.
Friday evening they were in there. They got to go and meet the players and watch them train on Saturday morning. Even had to do a presentation in front of the full playing squad
What?
about who they were, what
Ah.
they've done, the organisation of it all, and stuff like that. I think Thomas had the job of doing that
Did he?
in
All
front
right.
of them all. Yeah.
Good on
Then
him. Good
obviously
on him.
after that, straight back into St James's Park to carry it on, and they were there from 9:30 on Sunday morning. I went to help them around about 2:30, 3 o'clock. I was there for around about 3.5, 4 hours, and it was just about done when I left. And that's 40-odd thousand seats
49, wasn't it?
with something on them.
Yeah.
The work that has gone into that display, I have never seen anything like that. Never mind in the Premier League in English football.
Anyway, we
Anywhere.
had a whole stadium,
Anywhere.
with the exception of the away end, obviously, the whole stadium.
It is phenomenal. And I knew it looked good before the fans were in there.
Mm.
When the flag started waving 15 minutes before kickoff, it was electric.
And it was absolutely chock-a-block. I got in there at about 22 and it was already busy. People had gone like, oh, we're getting here, we're going to get involved with this. Like, it's brilliant. The flags have been, I mean, in the championship season, I think that was when they started. They were excellent. They were really good. And obviously, you've got a lot of the flags that kind of have survived from that period, like the shirts and the Colin Veach and the Jackie Milburn ones and stuff. And since the takeover, honestly, every game there's been like, it's just lush. It's really good to watch. I've got a mate who sits behind the big ones, the Gallowgate, who always hates them because he can't see now.
Yeah.
That used to be me.
Well, imagine it and all. Hello, John, if you're watching, by the way. I don't think he is. But I like that one. That was the first time I had a flag, and I've got the net above us. I've got everything. I'm like, and you can't see me right in the corner. But unreal, absolutely brilliant, and it's made a massive difference. I've referred to it a few times, but there was an episode or an edition of Soccer Saturday when Jeff Stelling's going, "Oh, they're coming out," so he just goes, "Oh, look at that."
Aye.
And I forget which game it was now. It's a while ago. It was quite early on in this kind of era.
I think it was
Was it the Spurs game?
It was the first game.
Possibly, yeah, it might have been.
It was.
And he was like, "I look at that," and that's like small beer compared to now. Can you imagine like that Scott put them in our WhatsApp group? I think it was like a drone or a helicopter shot from before the game where you see the Melbourne and it's just black and white stripes and the massive blue. It was absolutely like brilliant. And like Chris says, you'll never ever see stuff like that in football normally.
I think what's also amazing is like when they first started, it was, you know, we all knew how impressive it was and how amazing it was, but I never thought it would come out the Gallowgate. I honestly thought it'll be what it is, but it'll just be that end.
Yeah.
And for them now to go to the effort to put flags in other places, and then actually we'll do this the next time, and then this one was literally
level 7 and that.
You know, it was incredible. Like because the other week they had the massive one in the Leeds end, didn't they?
That looked amazing. That
looked incredible. You know what I mean? I thought, oh well, you can't get better than that one, and then they've done it again, and it's like
it's almost as if like the stuff they've done with that level 7 ones against like Palace or Leicester, and the Leeds is having it's almost as if the little bits that have expanded were like trials. Like they've had this one in mind. We're going, we'll see what the take-up's like. But everyone, as I say, I was there 22, quarter to 8, and it was like the whole crowd had bought into it, completely gone right.
Once Status Quo came on, like I must admit, it was it was absolutely.
I think that's
time, wasn't it?
That's one of the things, because they've always struggled in the past to have enough volunteers and people to actually even wave the flags. So when they've had the flags there, they've been able to put them there, but nobody's waved them. And I think that's because there wasn't that good feeling about the club like we have at the minute. So, and
because of one man, it's unbelievable, isn't it? The poisonous and the feelings that one man can stop everything that we're doing now. Because of one man, couldn't.
Could it be said, right, that because of him, he was the poison. He was what stopped it. But there's been a building. Now them showers, you can get the shower heads that hold the water up. But
with the stones and the bead things in.
Yeah, but they obstruct the water.
I need to have a conversation
when the water
about
comes
out with more force.
Yeah. To me, Mike Ashley was that part of the shower head that stopped that from happening. But since he's if he had never been here, we wouldn't have get the flag displays like we have now.
Yeah, that's a fair comment.
I think he's kind of, and I'm not using it to kind of give him credit. I say, he
so like we bottled it up, sort of.
It's been his build up of kind of like frustration and kind of like pent up. Like we want to support our team and we're trying to, but there's a barrier. And now it's like even stuff like, and I'm cynical at the stuff about like my dad and Amanda and Jamie Rubin at half time coming down with the kids. I was like, does that really need to happen? Like, inwardly, but I'm sitting out here now, so it's not inward at all, is it? I'm thinking like, well, that it feels a little bit kind of self-gratifying to us of them.
I would agree.
I didn't get the half time.
However,
I think I know what you're going to say here. Now, I kind of agree.
They were coming around and actually thanking everybody in the stands and stuff like that, and giving more, saying thank you and giving them more things. So it was more about
you were going to go with the academy players that were with, because they'll hit the people have been cheering for the academy players, but also for them. And that's now something, another theory I've had. It's all come out. And I think I've said it on here before. I definitely said it when me and Taylor did our podcast. Was how about that? It's good, that one.
A long time ago.
Yeah, that's a while ago. Again, listening to True Faith yesterday, there was a point where Alex goes,
Jesus Christ.
There's a point where Alex goes,
anybody else you want to plug?
Nah.
He goes, it's the same podcast. He says, there was a point, we've been doing this 9 years now. And I was like, oh, yeah, have they been doing that long? Totally forget that, mate. Yeah, I started that. But, me. But, I had a thing when...
Who started this?
Ashley for me and Taylor. When Jeremy played for the club, Jeremy, I was in my head, I was thinking, if you get Jeremy warming up and it's a bit lackluster, you want someone going around with him like Les Ferdinand, and the crowd go, oh, Les Ferdinand, and Jeremy goes, oh, I love us. And I think there's a little bit of that with the academy youngins where they were going around, they were kind of, you can see they were like cheering the crowd up.
It was funny that when they were doing that.
It was been a little bit like cocksure and that, like that's it. And they'll have been buzzing off that. The noise that was probably created, it's because more for my dad, Jamie Rubin, and Mandy Staves. Like they'll have been getting the benefit. They'll be going, "Fuck, it's amazing this."
Yeah. Did you see that at half time when the kids won?
No.
That's because I thought you referenced the wrong part. So he didn't mean the end when them were there. Because
so they went on a walk around at half time.
Oh, right. Came out again. So that's what
we were.
We
were partaking in refreshments.
No, it felt a little bit self-congratulatory.
I was surprised to see them.
Yeah,
I loved how they got a picture with the kids at the front, and I expected that, if I'm honest. But when they started doing this sort of like little lap of appreciation, And then we're with them. I was like, oh, this is strange.
Yeah.
That's fine. It's fine.
very-
It's just strange.
it's
That's what I'm saying.
I'm not saying that there mustn't be. It's a very mild kind of, not even criticism, just a kind of. Oh, that's
Well, it's
odd.
because I've never ever seen owners of a football club walk around with academy kids at half time.
No, never.
Ever in my life.
But then-
so that's why I'm going. Oh,
The way
that's
I
strange.
looked at that
What's
when
it about?
I saw it today, I thought maybe I might be completely wrong here because these kids are the future of this club.
That's what.
And
Children.
so are they.
I believe the
Future.
children are the future.
So maybe that sort of thing. I don't
Go
know.
on.
I don't know.
Maybe I was kind of thinking again with kind of go at full time. Like Dick, I was saying, I've never seen owners do that before half time. Go around with it. I've never seen them kind of embrace the players as much as they did it. Like Bruno with like
Vincent
full
Tan
on
used to
cuddles and
do
all
it.
that, like, and it's
He's shagging her, like. allegedly.
And
I'm telling you.
so is Jamie Rubin
I'm
as
telling
well.
you. Something going on there. Like.
I don't know, you know what it is if you've got murder at home. Like, nah, you don't
But-
play away. Like,
What I will say is I mean, other than maybe there is a few owners coming to mind that I've seen Roman, for example, hug
Cardiff.
Lampard, for example.
Mm.
But like I've never seen this kind of relationship.
It
That's nasty.
seems
It's
like
mental, isn't
it
it?
just
Like,
seems like a massive family. It really does.
oh,
and
it
it
does,
sounds
yeah.
cringy saying it, but everything associated with the club and how much the new owners have involved fans, wore flags,
Mhm.
different fan groups that have met them, the supporters trust have met them, then just the player interaction with the owners as well.
yeah.
There's that connection that we haven't had at this club for God knows how long.
And I'm going to reference something that someone put in the group just before, and I hadn't seen it until today, where he's the best, like Eddie Howe, like, but how class it was that he
the
sat on that media press conference thing and said, like, I just want to thank you lot because
Yeah.
I think that we're a team as well. Like,
Mhm.
and you've went away and carried that message, and we need to like be sort of almost friends with each other. And then them applauded him,
yeah.
and I was just thinking, for once, probably. Maybe not ever, because there was certain years there was, but it really feels like every single being of the club is pulling in the right direction. isn't it?
Everything's going-
Everything.
There was times when like Eddie's done everything. He's said everything spot on. His PR has been absolutely like the owners for the most part has been as well. We'll come on to maybe what could be a little bit of a hiccup later on, I dare say, with regards to the new shirts and stuff like. But
That's on the list.
I thought it might be. In fact, you told
You
me it was.
made
I
the
knew
list.
it was. But Eddie, how Declan, you're right. Like even when Rafa,
the
2010.
longest. That's
Hey,
the longest.
we haven't mentioned him for a long time.
What happened when and this could be the last time when Rafa was here? It was like the players were pulling it that way. The crowd was. That was as close as I've felt to the team up until now. Since
Yeah.
Bobby, probably to be honest with you, Glenn Roder. Like the management, the coaches, how it all felt with in the press as well. What was going in the right direction, except for the club.
Yes.
Except for the overarching Ashley, Charlie, I was going to say them by say Charlie. There was something that was rotten, and that was kind of what was stopping. Even when Rafa was here, and I was Derek, I loved him. You know that. I think we all did. Whatever. It was just that kind of spectre almost
always
in
a
the
cloud,
background.
wasn't it?
Kind
There was
of
always a
like, this
cloud.
is going to stop
Yeah.
you, and this is going to end, and it did end in tears, and ended with Bruce coming in. But like now, it feels like you said Decker, the fans are going that way, the club are, the players are, the management are. And Eddie Howe, the press have been great as well. They've asked questions where they've had to be asked.
Yes, it's more so the local ones, isn't it, that have been
Oh
great.
yeah, I mean
we all
that's.
know the other problem outside.
But I mean, those I think those conversations at the outside, for the most part, have got to be had regarding the ownership. I think a lot of it's spiteful. I think a lot of it is arguing. It's trying to use what is a fucking dreadful situation over there. Not getting into this too much. To their own ends to score points on it to try and like, win over. You know, a lot of it's pathetic, but a lot of it is kind of.
It's a serious topic.
So it's a very serious topic and it's something that we've got to consider. But that notwithstanding, everyone at the club, every single, it seems to be going right. We're going to make Newcastle United better. We're going to try and improve. We're going to try and progress. And it's lush to be. And I can't think of a time I've been in the ground. Maybe when they beat Forest 5-0 in '97 and qualified for the Champions League. I can't think of a time I've been in that ground and felt like I felt on Monday night. It was incredible.
Yeah, it was incredible.
It was like powerful.
It stayed with us for days, honestly, for days. I just kept thinking about it and rewatching the game, and it was an unbelievable feeling, wasn't it? In the end, like I didn't get teary or anything, but like when they'd done that photograph at the end, you know, that was
class. That
amazing.
That was
like
like
is the photo that not that photo, but the other photos have been pissing everyone off,
Yeah.
which we love. And then to like kind of go, this is two fingers to all of you, because It was everyone, kids, family.
So
wives,
It was the
everything.
Gallowgate, the crowd as well.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
crowd as well.
was
yeah.
every- it was
just like what a moment.
When
that
I said
was.
earlier that the flags, every little increase, Lees's, Milburn level, felt like a kind of right. Welcome. That's like a
Step,
tester.
wasn't it? Yeah.
That picture at the end felt like a culmination of all the pictures that have been taken so far. That was like, right, here's a big one.
You've seen that
I
coming.
saw
didn't
you look at it before and I thought
It
that's
was
gonna
me.
fall.
For me, it was
It's
like
Les. It's big Les. He's
He's dropped behind the sign. Shit.
for me, it was like it was almost a nod to the fact of you've been part of this victory as well.
very much so.
You know,
Yeah.
so let's get you in the photo. So
It was outstanding, wasn't it? It was
So it's
outstanding.
one of my
Yeah,
favorite moments of any season. That when
Jesus Christ, what's going on?
It's because it's that warm in here again.
It is.
I haven't done a summer for
It's warm
about a
today.
year.
we're falling apart. If you do want to become a member for $2.99 a month,
We need glue.
we can get extra glue to hold everything
His
up.
head's fell off. It's happening.
Poor Holly's picture fell down.
So it's one of my favorite parts of any season when it's the lack of appreciation
Yeah.
and having the families and obviously the family, the kids and the wives and partners, whoever it may be on the field. I just love that moment, and I think once again they came out and said it's just that family feeling. Once, and you mentioned the photo, it's and the kids like kicking about and Bruno's like doing rainbow flicks over like some random kids.
Kieran Trippier's just kicking the shit out of some kids.
Some kid.
You've seen the picture of Vinnie Jones tripping a kid up in the, I think playing for Leeds or Sheffield United. He's on the pitch and Vinnie Jones' legs up there. There's a kid just flying over him like a young kid. And Trippier was doing he did it 4 or 5 times.
Yeah.
I'm assuming it was his own kid that he did it. Like,
Maybe it was like nominative determinism because he's called Trippier. At some point in the day, he's just got to fucking let some kid just trip him up like.
If you were affected by Kieran Trippier on Monday night, please call.
It's just one of those things. And Josh, he has donated. Says, "Here, lads, if you were at the game on Monday, where would you say it ranks in terms of atmosphere? Probably the best I've experienced. I honestly don't want the season to end. I've never felt like that before." He says, "I even managed to have a chat with Amanda during her lap of honor, and she actually thanked him for his support. And it almost broke down. It was nice to feel valued."
Definitely, that's something that they've done. I mentioned the kind of the PR side. Almost, it sounds cynical to say that, but they're doing everything from a fan's perspective. They're doing everything right. They're talking to fans. Listening to fans, not just talking, but they're actually kind of they appear to be taking stuff on board. Whether how far that goes, you never know. But it feels like it does feel united. There's another line for you. But yeah, that was regarding the atmosphere. That's the best I've heard it experienced in St James's. Certainly as an adult. I'm 40-year-old now, so that's 22 years, maybe ever. That might be my favorite ever atmosphere inside the ground.
I'm thinking that because I remember one of my favorites was when we won the championship. The way that we did, and I left the ground talking to my dad about that, and I said that eclipsed that by personally Monday eclipsed it. Like
it was no comparison.
Just
That was a great day as well. But
it was
right.
a great day. It really was, and considering the way that we won it, obviously they're going up, staying up, going down, or whatever it was, and then obviously them scored for us to win. But I can't recall. Honestly, cannot recall a better atmosphere like him. And
fan involvement, I would probably argue when we lost the game against Benfica.
Oh, in the semi-final.
Oh, yeah.
Semi-final.
It was a quarters, wasn't it?
It was. So when we lost that one,
wasn't it? When they scored and we all stood up, that was a lovely moment. That, like, to be fair.
But that was obviously for different sort of terms and stuff like that. But that was the thing. You should try this, lads. Like
that a good goal.
I think as well, like, and it's going to sound really daft. I want to say, but most things I say are daft. But of course, like the fans are there and all of the flags have been there and Amana's on the pitch and everything's amazing. But the football was mint. Like we played mint.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? Like it's not just like Ashley's gone, Sports Direct's gone, we've got owners that care, but we're not very good, like still. But we're all right. We're plugging away and everyone's united. We're fucking good.
That almost feels lost in everything else. But they played really well.
We played amazing.
I've been thinking since I thought it on the day, and I thought since I've been stupid, but I still think now, and I kind of stand by and maintain with this group of players. Eddie Howe, what we're talking on, we'll finish 10th. We'll finish a lot higher than 10th. There's only 9 places higher than 10th, so we're not going to finish top 4
comfortably 10th.
But I think with and the rest, I think I look at Wolves and West Ham. Only 10 points.
It's phenomenal what he's done with what
10 points off West Ham
with that team.
Was it not? If you just look at the points picked up since the turn of the year, Newcastle would be challenging for that European spot, but like
it was
Champions
fourth,
League
I think
spot.
it was, fourth.
I think since he came in, we are with top 6, notwithstanding. I think we're the best of the rest, 7th. I think that's.
And we're not sat here saying we're going to get Champions
Oh,
League
no,
football
no,
next
no, no, no,
season.
no.
But with a couple of additions, it's not that far-fetched
with
if
this-
we
I think-
continue this run of form.
What he's getting out with this squad, it's exciting.
That's what I keep looking
very
at as a squad.
exciting.
And another thing is obviously Arsenal. And it isn't. It's over isolation. It's one game of football.
Yeah.
But
It's a huge game for them.
them were going for top 4,
Mhm.
right? They were in the top 4 before Wednesday. They were there at that moment, and we absolutely battered them.
Yeah,
Battered them
totally. Like paid them off the park.
off the park. And I think I'm normally I think the most not negative is the wrong word, but you know
Because
what?
that's muddy.
Maybe that like people
I'm
that's what
happy.
who go like I think we'll get in Europe next season. I'm like, no, don't be ridiculous. Like a decent cup run in 11th. But then I come away from that game thinking, do you know what it is? Like if we get it right in the summer and we can continue the problem is the season's ending. That's the biggest issue. I just wish it was starting tomorrow. I think you put a great tweet out saying the same, right? Like I wish it was just starting next week. If we can somehow carry on this momentum, why not? Why sky's the limit? Like just
You
Why not?
try and finish as high as you can, don't you?
always, of course, you
I
do.
think I said the other week, every season you've got to try and win 38 games of football in the league. No one does it, but you've got to try and do it. And then if you try your best to win all those games, you're going to. So aim for why have a target? Why not just try and win all those games and then see where you end up?
And then you always had that thing when Bruce first came in. Remember the line he used to say, "Well, I'm just here, I'm just trying to keep it ticking along."
Ticking
And
along, that was it,
remember that famous line of basically keep them in the division.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Ownership was standing. Eddie Howe wouldn't rest upon that. Like 10th isn't good enough, 9th's not good enough. It's being the very best that we can possibly be, and again, that's exciting. So
It's been a perfect, not perfect. I wouldn't say that since the takeover, everything's been totally rosy, but it's hard to say how realistically could it be any better than it has been the last 6 months, 7 months since the takeover, 8 months maybe. Like getting Howe in, where the transfer window was Trippier signed in 12 days. The transfer window, like quite early on. And then there'd been a week where people are going, hang on, no one signed, what was wrong?
Is that all
Remember
again?
that when we're sitting here, and people were kind of going, like shitting their pants.
it'll be similar in the summer, mate. It'll be similar.
I think, I don't know, because
I think
I think
they're
some
expecting-
people will be impatient, but I think because relegation was such a certainty in January, until 3 months ago, maybe, I think that it was
I saw them celebrate. I thought it was too
Oh, I
bad.
thought
Sorry.
you knew something. Sorry, best.
Sorry, mate.
I've totally lost me.
You've done that Carragher thing on my leg again.
I saw that. That's thrown us.
I think he had some. Do you have something to say, Mark? Because to be fair,
I was just going to say,
Sorry, mate.
Totally lost my train of thought.
I hope Sunday isn't a little bit of a after the Lord Mayor's show, because
Brilliant.
Monday
Pretty good
night
form.
just felt like
That's a nice little phrase. I've never heard that before.
Haven't you?
Have you not?
After the Lord Mayor show.
Lord Mayor's show.
No, I've
Lord
never
Mayor's
heard that
show,
before.
yeah.
It's only a golf thing. I always get it on, so you might do a really
Because
good
all
hole
the
in golf.
blokes.
You'll do a really good, well, maybe, but you'll do a really good hole. Like you'll birdie it, and then the next hole you'll bogey it after the Lord Mayor's show. Like there was
It basically means the
Oh,
Lord Mayor show.
bit of a
is great,
come down.
and then the day after, it's like shite.
shit.
Yeah.
All right,
So
okay.
But if
it
everyone
just-
goes down, that's good, right?
it just felt like
So like when you're on a stag do and you go too hard on the first night.
and
the
you
second
crash and
one,
burn the
shit.
next one. Yeah,
I think that's pretty fair. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, after the Lord Mayor show.
but just Monday just felt like almost the perfect end to the season. Just
Yeah.
everything kind of came together on the night with the display, the atmosphere, all of the players, the families, the performance. As Decker said, that it was almost the icing on the cake, because you could have had all of those other things
Mhm.
and we might have lost, and it just wouldn't have felt as perfect as it did on that Monday night. So I've got that little bit of worry is after that amazing high that we had there, we've still got another game to come at the weekend, which, all right, in the grand scheme of things, it's not massively important to us, because we've achieved what we wanted to achieve. We've stayed up. We've done it comfortably now. I know Eddie won't allow them to do that, because he'll have that pride of wanting to make sure that they put the performance in and do it. But I'm just a little bit wary, especially with Burnley having a lot to play for
before you
and
jump
that
in,
kind of
if
thing
it-
as well.
If anybody else has got any more questions, fire them our way, because we're going to have a conversation in regards to the new league kit, but I think I'm going to drop it because I feel this has been such a positive
Yeah, that's fair
podcast.
enough.
Why don't we have a kids special podcast?
Yeah, because it's been so positive tonight, and we're bigging up the club and the performances and what's happened. I think we should put that on the back burner until it's official that these are going to be the kits, because I don't want to bring it down out of this. So if you've got any questions, send them our way, and we'll go through as many
But not
as
about the
possible.
kids.
Not about the
Not
kids.
about the kids.
I think they're all lovely, so I don't think they'll bring it down.
I am to go what you're saying there, Mark, and there is going to be. It might not happen to Burnley, but there is going to be a point at some point where we'll lose a couple of games because that's just life and that's how football works. Like, and there is going to be a bit of a lull at some point. Like, but like Friday Monday, it was like it was almost like the end of a film.
It was like a culmination
It was
of
like
everything
redemption
that had gone into
I'm surprised you know what
pulling the
an
team
end of
together.
film is like.
I wouldn't try to say it.
I think
Looks like I've
at
just
your
never
age.
seen fucking that fine film.
I do
Don't
agree
focus,
that
you don't finish.
I wish it was the end of the season. I wish
Yeah.
Monday had been it. Like,
Imagine that was it. That was just the last game of the season. It couldn't have got any better.
Finish films all the time.
yeah, what you finish films all the time?
Oh God, I fucking like a course.
There's the pen.
There it is. There it is. That was very good. That.
Completely lost on you though.
Oh, I've been sleeping on the
It's been a long
sofa.
week, mate,
It has.
Lost like number 5.
It's been a long week.
I think again though, I think someone might have said this
was
before somewhere, but like that Arsenal game came on the back of us getting beat 5-0 off Man City.
Yeah.
Like
2 losses because
well,
lost to
the
Liverpool as well.
Liverpool game there was no shame in that in a sense, but and I know some people think getting beat off Man City final is not a problem either because of how good they are, but I thought the last couple of goals were distasteful. It looked like they could.
Yeah.
They had just give up.
Yeah, that was. It
Do
was
you know what I mean?
bad memories there.
You
Like,
could
yeah.
easily say like, oh, well, what's Monday going to be like? But Monday was absolutely incredible, and I'm sure I've said this weeks ago that I believe that when the run comes, that may have come, that was lose a few games in a row. I'll never be fine with losing, but I will believe that we'll have the right person in charge to try and
Be a plan.
And turn it
there'll be
around
a
again.
plan, do you know what I mean? And we'll turn it around, and that's more evidence there. We've been absolutely thumped, and we've come back against someone who was going for the top 4 and absolutely battered them.
Well, if you think about that's the third time Howe's done it. He's turned it around when we started with the run of Leeds, Southampton, did all those games.
Spurs.
Then we had the run of defeats. He did it again after that. The run we lost to Chelsea, Everton.
Oh shit! Yeah, that was
Someone else.
Chelsea Everton won on the break.
There was three defeats,
Was
wasn't
it
it?
3? I thought
Chelsea,
Chelsea Everton
Everton,
won on the break.
Tottenham.
Everton.
Tottenham
Or
5-1.
Spurs, right? Okay.
fuck.
And then we came back and started winning games again. Then we had the 2 Man City Liverpool. Yeah, well, you're going to lose them, like. But I know what you mean. The 5-0 against Man City. I wasn't. I think it was disgraceful. But the last couple of goals were kind of like that's Pardew-esque or Bruce-esque almost.
Mhm.
And then again, I mean, to say turn it around after 1 game maybe is a little bit.
You're going up against a similar sort of opponent in a team that's challenging.
A team that's I mean, a team that
still got something to play for. It's not like we're in holiday mode or anything like that.
a team that were only trying to beat or trying to finish in the same position as a team that beat were 5-1 2 months ago. So a similar kind of standard and absolutely like eviscerated them.
Wiped the floor.
Scott gave a great shout. If you do want to hear conversation about a football kit, there's actually a video there for members only at the minute, where me, Decker, and Scott talk about Newcastle's home kit.
Our Scott.
So we mentioned the home kit and the
Lovely
third kit.
Yeah,
This was the night before
Oh shit! Yeah.
the Saudi green kit
Yeah.
was mentioned.
The white kit, you mean?
There's a great end to that one as well because I started talking about what strip I want, and it's a bit uncanny in regards to what happens the next day. So yeah, become a member $2.99 a month, and you can go watch that one. Freddie says, "Who do you all think is going down?" So you, Mark. So it's between Burnley, Leeds, and Everton. It's a massive game tomorrow.
Yes.
In regards to what's going to happen at the weekend.
I think Leeds.
Bestie?
Don't want it to be Leeds, but
I'm trying to get a league table up. So.
It's Leeds.
It looks most likely to me that it would be Leeds. Like, I think the Burnley have won a few games now. They've got a tough one on Sunday against us, but I don't know if they've maybe already done enough. Everton have started to pick the points up a little bit. Leeds are in free fall, aren't they? Or did they get it?
Yeah, the Brentford they got a draw. They drew at home against Brighton somehow, but obviously that Brentford game against Everton was ridiculous. Really, what happened?
3-2.
Yeah, it was just madness. Rondon's was madness.
I thought
Fireworks don't work.
Yeah, that's where they were.
well, apparently they weren't even at the hotel.
Now that they drove, that's what they just.
No, I think
all I've done is walk some people in
Did
having a weekend in
put a
Liverpool.
tweet out saying you could have done it for a bit longer because I was only awake for like 3 minutes or something like that.
Probably just spoiled his wank and he went back.
Spoiled his wank.
You need to watch Rondon's. I don't know what he's thinking. He literally just 2 foot.
It's naughty, isn't it?
Isn't it? It's
I
naughty.
haven't seen it yet, but no, that
It's like his mid sat down.
So obviously,
it looks like Leeds. It looks like Leeds. Isn't it?
Tomorrow they've got. Is it Palace tomorrow? Everton,
I
isn't
think
it?
it is.
Yeah, it is Palace. Isn't it? It would be. Do you know? I want them to go down, so of course I want them to lose, right? And
We all want Everton to go
of
down.
course we do,
We're
yeah.
saying that now. We want
And it
Everton
would be
to go down.
interesting. Sunday would
Not
be
that bothered, but I would like it.
Sunday would be mad. Like if them get beat, all of a sudden we are actually involved in it.
Yeah.
For once, not
The other way.
the other way. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So yeah, but I think Leeds will go. Like
Yeah, I'm in agreement. I think
It looks like it.
I would love it to be Everton, but
I think if Burnley lose tomorrow night, that's probably them done. Like, but they've got a chance against Villa.
2 points behind
One.
Leeds.
1 point.
just a quick talk of the title. Can you believe Gerrard's
2
gonna go
points.
to City?
2 behind Everton.
Aye.
It's unbelievable, that, isn't it? With a chance to rock the boat, like it's mad. That isn't it?
so Liam Coates says any GS plans for over the summer break and an end of season review, etc. We're still going to need our always smiling faces fix. Yes, we may be going back and doing something which we've done during the first lockdown, I think it was. So
Yeah.
the awards
Oh,
night, which we did, which we all got
Absolutely
smashed
hammered.
out of box.
Not too much. Not too much.
Very,
I think
very
we'll
drunk.
have way too much to drink that night, but we'll have a special host on that one as well. So we will be announcing that one in the next couple of weeks, I would have thought. And I've got a notebook full of ideas, which you don't really know about. Bestie does a little bit because I was talking to Bestie about it before we went live tonight.
Because Bestie came here early.
So there will be
I came up
content
with
going
one
on.
idea. Didn't
There's
I?
always a first.
Only had one idea.
I did, but it was a nice idea.
It was alright, wasn't it? It'd be
Yeah.
good, I think.
So yes, there will be more stuff, and it's not just football related stuff either. So yeah, let's have a look.
Lingerie, one of them.
That was Bestie's idea.
Yeah.
Just because he loves wearing stockings.
Daryl says, "Can we talk about some of the looks that the players were getting from and Deck? The glory of
Ant Deck was
bastards.
just all of us, wasn't he? Weren't they?
wasn't he?
Wasn't he? The job of just one person.
It was even funnier. It was Burn, wasn't it? That obviously
That was hilarious.
That's what makes it funny, isn't it? Yeah. And again, though, it's just lovely, like to see that, isn't it? Do you know what I
Aye.
mean? Like even someone like to have them types of people involved, and like it just that feel good factor. Because Ant and Deck, bless them, like it is mad. As my last watch is I'm a Celebrity and that, and she'd always say like, "Oh, they were watching the match earlier on."
My lass.
Stuff like
Yeah.
that. Oh, I didn't watch that shite. I watched lots of shite, but not that. And it's just really nice, isn't it, to have them in with that?
I did
You know,
find it a bit strange that Ant and Deck went down onto the pitch. Like,
They've obviously just been dragged down, I reckon.
I was showing Amy the one of it's when Dan Burns in. Deck's like that.
he's like,
Oh, Amy, look at this. And he goes, "Oh, look, it's Deck." And she goes, "Is that your mate?" Like Dan Burn. I was like, wish.
Wish
you
Is that your
I
mate?
wish
Like
you
you made
would.
with his top off on the pitch.
Always happens.
My cousin got his granddaughter in the Metro Centre. Got a picture and Burn like stopped and he sent us it just before and he saw I was in the Metro Centre. Dan Burn was there, so I got the Burn.
so he
out
get
and-
down on his knees.
and he was like, "Oh, boy," took his hat off and that and got a photo with him, which was nice.
That's nice, that, like,
It's
that.
That is nice. That is nice.
He's just a lovely lad.
Callum Lewis says, "Have you
Dan
lads,
Burns' mate.
Have you lads done the gold envelopes? We didn't do it this season. We kept on saying we're going to do it the week after, the week after.
It was because of COVID, wasn't it? Because we couldn't get together to actually do it. Is that why it happened?
I think
Could
it
be
was
wrong
a
there.
combination of that and nobody was excited for the season.
Yeah,
Aye.
we could still do it now.
No, I think we're not.
Open them next week.
But we just never did it.
There's no way on earth we would have got any of the predictions right. Like,
Callum Wilson top scorer.
not a
maybe.
chance.
Callum, maybe.
Maybe,
Callum Wilson,
maybe.
yeah.
You would have probably said more than 6 goals. Like, but
But I don't think anyone's going to say under.
Most improved player would never get. Player of the season would never get. Finishing position would never
If
get.
anybody got player of the season, got Joelinton,
Not a chance.
that would have been absolutely.
I think it was in there for a laugh. It would have only been put in
Yeah.
for a laugh, I think, rather than meaning
Yeah.
it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, a league position. Where
If you took Joelinton out of it, who's the most improved player then?
most improved,
I've got
mine.
award that.
I think Kraft.
Craft or
that's mine.
share
What
for
most
me.
improved or player of the season?
No, well, I mean,
I can't remember what we used to do.
I think we should do a most. Oh no, we didn't do.
We
a
should do most
did we?
improved.
Oh, we did.
Yeah, yeah. Disappointment.
Uh-huh.
Player of the season.
Okay. And league
Position.
top goal scorer.
And top goal
Oh,
scorer.
okay.
All right, okay.
So obviously Joelinton gets the
So it
most
wasn't
improved.
Joe. Yeah, probably saying Kraft.
Yeah,
Craft or
fine.
share for me.
Probably share because he really dropped off, didn't he?
Yeah.
After, yeah.
Who are
I-
you going for underachiever?
Tough, isn't it?
This sounds harsh, but could you say Saint to a certain degree?
Possibly,
Because of,
possibly.
Would
I
have been
think
so high people
if-
going in the season.
If Monday hadn't happened the way it went, I think that probably would have been, yeah. But it would have felt harsh because he's been a massive part in the.
I don't think anyone's underperformed this.
Yeah.
Especially since the Takeover. It's been
Not
night
really.
and day.
Kieran Clark, maybe. So he was desperate to start.
Clark was,
Freddie
yeah.
Woodman was poor at the start of the season. But
It's funny that you don't need.
it's,
You know
like
what?
it's like a different club. we're talking about.
Longstaff, he was
Yeah.
poor for a lot of it. He's
well, even now
obviously
he's
turned it
probably
round a little bit.
He's been poor longer than he was
Yeah.
good this season. He was excellent on Monday. Don't get us
Yeah,
wrong, but
in fair, God, I mean, it was only last week. I'm sure I was saying like,
Oh,
we've offered him a new
Someone
deal.
just said Willock.
Joe,
Shout
yeah.
out to the show.
God, will it? Completely forgot about him.
Christ, aye. Sorry, Maxie, mate. Aye, Willock.
Thanks, Dan, for reminding me. That would have been
Yeah.
like that.
Has
Yeah.
to be.
But once again,
I don't know, he came
Bad.
back since the start of the turn of the year, hasn't he?
No, I know.
If we're looking at the season as a whole compared to last season, though.
Aye,
you look at
he was dog shite. Sometimes, like,
the thing is, all these players, Joe, Shea, Kraft, have all improved after Eddie Howe came in.
yeah, without question.
I think if sliding doors and all that, and butterfly effect, whatever, if we are in the same situation now as we were in September, early October with Ashley, Bruce Diller, we're looking at them going like, well, he's shite. So Maximin's probably got in January. He's rubbish. He's fucking terrible. It's totally,
yeah.
For the first 14 games of the season, we were dreadful.
Oh, there's another shout, Ryan Fraser.
Miggy,
There's loads. Honestly, there's,
What,
there's
the
loads.
whole squad.
I think the
really.
reason when like for the most improved, obviously, like Shea was mentioned there, but I've seen that from Shea. Like I've seen that.
Yeah.
Kraft's playing at a level now that I didn't even think he was even capable of. Like,
No.
I mean, I've never even seen anything that I'm seeing.
Turning
He's
point
been
for
amazing.
Turning point for Kraft was when he turned some kid playing for Sweden. He did like
Aye.
well,
He got robbed, didn't he? And
We
then
can't
he
speak about this on this channel because we got a copyright strike.
Oh,
of
that's
that.
because of Roger. Aye, Roger.
Oh, yeah.
So
Aye.
don't talk about that little move.
Sorry, UEFA. Sorry, Michelle. Oh, he's not there anymore, is he?
There was a
so you're not banged up in prison now.
There was a mention there. It was a great shout as well. I can't remember what it was. Oh, there it is from Kevin. It says the clip of Bruno's dad crying to
Oh God!
hearing his son's name being sang.
Imagine
Just
that, man.
another lovely moment. I think since the takeover, there's been so many lush moments,
Aye.
and on and off the field.
I was reading a piece in the Athletic, one of George's pieces about the kind of the squad, but it referenced like the start of the Arsenal game. I might have been a different. I read a few articles this afternoon, and it was when they came out. He said some of the players were like visibly quite moved by the flags and stuff. The fans. He says Dan Burn was like saying, "Lads, look, wow."
Callum Wilson and Isaac Hayden in the video you haven't watched yet.
Aye.
They're having a little chat, and they basically say, like Isaac Hayden says, it's the best I've ever seen. It's,
can you
it's
actually hear
amazing.
him?
Yeah.
I love Isaac Hayden's tweet as well. I want to, because he's become a bit of a, I don't want to say forgotten character because it sounds so harsh, but he hasn't been involved because of injury for the second half of the season. And his tweet, I think today or yesterday, where he was saying like about it's great and all that. I'm paraphrasing because I can't remember exactly what he said.
And then whatever
happens next, I really want. I'd love it. If I'm not a part of it, I want to see it. Like,
Yeah.
the
It's
club
very
and all
similar
that.
to Shelby's quote, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And it was like I love Hayden. Me, the article that George wrote that I read that I really enjoyed was and I'm not trying to sell subscriptions here, by the way, but if you want one, and it was about
So
how
that's two podcasts that he's praised on tonight as well.
Remember when he went on the Athletics podcast?
Yeah, you never even
mentioned us,
told
did
it. No,
It was just bestie.
Which
Didn't
time-
say where he was from or anything.
Which time was that?
exactly.
It doesn't matter. Both.
But no,
Never
there's
gave us
article.
a shout, did he?
Turn
I think I
coat.
did, didn't I?
No,
Surely I did.
you did not.
Thanks for listening, though, lads.
Didn't even
I never
introduce.
listened to
Didn't
any
even
of that.
introduce yourself as from.
From Gallowgateshots.
Decker doesn't listen to anybody else's because
Honestly, I don't.
What do you think? Ant and Deck introduced us. I'm from fucking SMTV Live.
Yes,
Nah, why not?
Baker Grove, surely.
From Slap Bang.
and from Ant and Deck.
I'm bestie from Bestie Chris Deck and Mark.
Well, it's not Taylor and Bestie anymore.
No.
It's Bestie.
Who?
Chris
Lads,
Decker and Mark.
I put our friendship first, ahead of any professional type of relationship that we have. But reading
Have
this
you
article-
not? Have you not actually recorded longer with us now than you did with him anyway?
No, I did 5 years with Taylor. It's been
Intermittent.
yeah.
There's some breaks. It was 5 weeks without a podcast.
There was I.
There was a lot of gaps
Slipshod.
during
We're
that time.
making a film. That is actually why we stopped as well to get the film finished. I think
That's
when,
why they're not starting
when we've
again.
got it wrapped up, if we're both still knocking around in 20, 30 years' time, we're still doing 10 to get it done. Like, I think. But reading this article, and it was about how, like, another thing about Friday was it felt like the end of a generation of players because there's still a load of that squad that were in the championship. That, like,
2016.
Gale.
Did you really want Gale to score?
Oh, God, how much?
Hmm.
When he squared
Nearly
it,
got a
when he
chance.
squared it, Fraser, no, have a sang his song. That would have felt like a proper. And again, like I said, it felt like the end of a film. It felt like a proper, like a redemptive. He's had his ups and downs. He's been away on loan at West Brom. He's come back. The crowd have kind of gone, he's a bit shy. But if he'd have scored, that would have been like.
We were begging Dan Burn to score as well, weren't we?
But this article goes, it's how many of those players that are there now. The start of the season still as like the spine of the squad. Like Richie, Shelby, Hayden was playing an awful lot. Lascelles, Kieran Clark.
Darlow.
Carl Darlow was, yes.
Yeah.
He played a few before Dubravka came back.
Man,
And now
Keogh.
there's only man. I don't know he came.
Well, we-
Rafa signed him.
Oh,
in the-
sorry.
We
apologise.
But now
spoke
there's
about
only-
it the other week
there's
where it
only
was
Shelby. Now that's played the second half of the season. Really, Shelby's the only first
Yeah.
choice,
Yeah.
and that we've already started the process of moving on. And in the summer, you're going to see a lot of those players go. I think, and it was George wrote it, Jordan Chris. I think this Friday night. It wasn't just because we're finishing higher up the table and we thought we've got this promising future. I'm not going to say one up because we don't know how it's going to go, but but it was these players that came in 2016, 2017 when it was Rafa said, "Oh, I've got a no dickheads policy," and they've kind of stuck and they've been a part of the whole Premier League thing so far since we came back up, and they've all done a job, and they've all the kind of the standard of football's kind of passed them by a little bit as years have gone by, and because they're 5 years older, their talents have maybe receded a little bit as well. But it's kind of a thank you to them because all the way through the Mike Ashley stuff, the Steve Bruce stuff, the players were never the problem. The maybe weren't good enough, but they're good boys. They are good boys.
Yeah, I'll give you that. Yeah.
You know, and like Isaac Hayden, I say Kieran Clark's been. I've said on this podcast this season, I think his treatment's been a bit harsh because in the Championship he was fucking excellent. You know, he got back up in the one season back in the Premier League. Yeah, I think he was our top scorer for a spell. He got 2 or 3 early in the season.
Yeah.
It might be in Bruce's first season. And they're still in the squad. I think 7 or 8 of them. That they were never the problem. When we were struggling, it wasn't because they weren't trying or they were upsetting the club. Like how the thing with Sunderland when they like dropped down a couple of divisions, and it was they're rotten to the core. You've got Cat Moles, a dickhead, John O'Shea's a bad egg. These aren't those lads. These are fucking good boys. These who just time. And the standard of the way we play has changed, and
the league progressed without this football club.
Yeah, and you stand, and that's just how it is. In this Friday, the lap of honour was as much for them as it was for me, at least. It was for Dwight Gale, for all those lads, as it was for Callum Wilson or for the lads who are kind of going to be taking the club forward. It was nice. It was like that was the end of almost the end of the Mike Ashley era, really, where they were the ones that kind of were kind of gatekeepers for the club between the bridged the Ashley and the what we are now. It was nice. I
wasn't thinking like you were doing when I was on Monday. I wish I'd have now.
Yeah, no, it was nice.
I honestly didn't. I didn't think of it that way.
I don't think I would have until Gale came on. And that was for me. I was like, oh, of course, because it shooting towards the Gallowgate as well, and that was the goal he scored against Barnsley, the going down, coming up thing.
Yeah,
that was the same, and that would have just been a nice little.
The only time I had a feeling of that was Richie was warming up in front of. He warmed up, and I was and my dad's because my dad loves Richie, and he was like, I think he might be gone next season. Do you reckon? We had a bit of a sort of conversation of that, but yeah,
that'll upset me.
There's none of them.
Richie.
Yeah.
He still doesn't think Richie was playing for the goal down at Arsenal.
He wasn't. No, definitely not.
There's another donation in from Will Thorne who says, "Greetings."
The snooker player.
No, says, greetings.
Not Willie.
180. He's dead, isn't he?
No, he's messaged in.
No, that was it. Not heard that story. Sorry, I've totally cut across Will Thorne here. It's a story about Jimmy White being in a nightclub. No, sorry, Jason McAteer's in a nightclub. Right. And Jimmy White walks in, and McAteer goes 180.
Oh, really? Jimmy White,
sorry, Will.
Hi, Will. He says, "Greetings from a long-time US fan and listener. Question is, would Howe win Manager of the Year if he had accomplished what he has for Newcastle United at a club like Arsenal?" It's hard to make that comparison because I don't think Arsenal would ever drop to where we were.
They were?
At the point of where we were.
Very early in the season. They weren't. It was
Start of the season, they were tired. They were wanting Arteta out for a long period.
And expect to be in for the remainder of the season. I think it's hard to compare the two clubs, but Eddie Howe's name is rightfully in the running for Manager.
He was second in the votes, wasn't he? The last I seen.
Jurgen Klopp was first.
Aye.
In fairness, they could win all 4 trophies this season.
Premier League Manager of the Season.
No, that's fair. That's fair.
I think Brentford's bloke deserves it personally.
He's been excellent.
Unreal.
What's his name again?
Frank
Lampard. Not Stelvin. That's Everton. Thomas Frank.
Absolutely amazing. Honestly, amazing. When they beat Everton, I thought, didn't them beat Chelsea like 4 or something like that? And on the budget that them have got and who them are to be never in trouble, really. Never to be in trouble.
No, they've never.
It's remarkable.
We'll get relegated next season.
No, listen, maybe, but I think if you're basing it on this season, as much as I want Howe to win it, if he won it, I'd be like, you know, that's
fair play, the
That's
guy.
fair play, like.
I don't know if it was a different club, I think it would be more lauded. I think if hypothetically,
Lampard does that at Everton,
yeah,
Oh my God.
what
aye.
Eddie Howe's done at Newcastle, they have a crown already for him.
Media darling Frank
Yes.
Lampard, you mean?
Well, to comment on that one, what really pissed us off, and I'm so glad I kind of didn't watch any of it on Monday in this regard, but on the Tuesday, I then decided, as I said, I watched it 3 times. I watched it again. What the fuck was going on after that game where Carragher and Neville were talking about it, and we never got any inkling of praise for about at all. Actually, the full half an hour was just about how bad Arsenal were, and how Arteta through the season away, and how it's a young squad, and it's this and it's that. Postponing the North London derby was a problem for them. What?
yeah.
Did you not see how we made it difficult for them? Did you not see how we performed?
I got back on Monday and I thought I'll stick Sky Sports News on because I didn't have a drink on Monday. I got the Metro back and we made Kieran drove back from here with the Jared. I watched it. I'll get the goals on Sky Sports News, and most of it was about Jake Daniels. Like, fair enough, the young lad at Blackpool who's come out. That's all right. And then it was, we're going to have a look at, and they had the graphic on it. Was Newcastle 2, Arsenal 0, and you had it behind. You know how they have the kind of big background thing. And it was Arteta and 2 Arsenal players, and no Newcastle. It was like, oh, hang on a sec. And it was all a tough night for Arsenal. It's a Champions League dreams lying.
I mean,
and Newcastle didn't get mentioned.
Yeah,
Didn't show the goals. It wasn't a great performance by Eddie Howe's side. And it's newsworthy. A team that are going for 4th are knocked off it.
Yes,
but the manner
it
in which
is.
it happened,
yeah,
it almost felt like it was kind of our little secret.
yeah.
Mm.
No,
You know?
and that's why I fully expected Carragher and Neville to go to town on Arsenal because it was such a big night for them, and
They were
I
poor,
get
like,
all of that.
they were poor.
But then I was expecting. But like I was waiting
Yeah.
for our moment and it just didn't come. And I'm thinking that's
Dan
ridiculous.
mentioned as well that Jack gave a really honest interview as well.
Yeah,
He
he
did,
did. I
yeah,
did.
yeah.
Carragher and Neville just slated him for being honest.
Neville was fuming.
Twisted what he was saying technically because he didn't say that it was the young players' fault. He was saying it doesn't matter what
How
age
old you
people
are,
are, they need to be up to be playing games.
He could have been having to go like Lacazette just as easily as
Exactly.
like Smith Rowe.
Neville
Exactly.
was raging. Like Neville
Yeah,
was really unhappy about
exactly.
it. Like. I think it was the host. I can't remember his name. Is a McNamee.
Oh yeah,
And he said like but Gary, like we're asking him, you complain when they're not being honest, and he's just giving an honest interview, and now you're complaining he's being honest.
normally I would say Carragher and
Really good.
Carragher and Neville are
Oh, yeah.
the ones that you listen to the most, like, because
Totally agree.
they're quite even-handed normally, but they get it wrong sometimes. Like, I think
They do.
they do.
Anything else to add before we sign out tonight, boys? Anything burning inside that you want to really mention?
The Shiva statue is nice to see where it is, and
Yeah,
it sounds daft this, but I couldn't really, even though I knew where it was going, I was happy it was on site. If you like, I couldn't quite imagine what it
Imagine it
would look
being
like. Do you know what I mean? And then when I seen it yesterday, I was like, oh, actually, that's going to be amazing. Like,
Yeah.
Do you think they're going to put a fence around the back of it?
Stop people-
Because there's going to be a lot of people climbing over the back of that. It's
maybe.
right on the wall where the steps go.
it is, isn't it? Really? Aye.
People do it with the Bobby one now.
True.
There's something that really annoys me about that statue now.
Which
The Bobby one?
Shearer one or the
The
Bobby
Shearer one.
Which one? What?
So as you've just mentioned, it's built into the wall coming down
Yeah.
from the side of the Gallowgate stand.
It's where the old ticket office used to be, isn't it?
Yeah.
If you look at the very top left-hand stone,
Oh, someone took a photo of that the other day.
it's got a little thin slope on it. All the rest of them have got a much bigger slope on it, and it just looks completely out of line.
on a whack, yeah. Get on. That's one from Murder and
So
Amanda.
that's,
Poor.
that's the thing that
Poor.
annoys you over
That
the
one-
fact that he's doing
Oh,
the
That
celebration.
one needs replacing.
So the celebration is a 1v Sunderland,
Well, the one
right?
thing
So
there,
the
yeah.
last one, but he's wearing the wrong kit.
But he didn't just do
he's
that
done it so many
celebration
times.
Did he
again.
not celebrate like that against Sunderland and St James's when he's in the one all draw?
But he's wearing the wrong kit.
No, he's been right. Well, when Sunderland, it was the last Roker Park season, we played him St James's. I think we beat him 1-0, Mike Jones 1-1. And we, Shearer, Sunderland wore white with the red.
He's
Oh,
doing
something like
doing that celebration on that card right there.
He has done it loads of times.
Oh, his hands up on that one, man.
I'll have a
It's
look.
like his finger on that one. It's his hand on that
Looks
one.
like his finger.
That
from
one's
there.
his finger at the penalty, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is it?
Aye.
Looks like
And,
it.
that
is.
was-
the Stadium Light.
No idea.
But he's done that a lot of
Loads,
times.
loads.
It should have been one at Ewood Park.
Obviously, it should.
That was mad. He did that.
Aye.
Yeah.
Remember
Two
those
in that
people?
game,
What's he
didn't
doing?
Didn't
What's he
he?
done that?
Well, the second one, he done a Klinsmann, but
I was going to say he's done
he just
done
couldn't get his
one of them,
balance.
hasn't
Yeah.
He just couldn't get back up. Lovely cross on Domi, that was as well. But aye.
A couple of people saying the big annoyance is that it doesn't even look like him.
Bobby
Nah,
Davro.
yeah. That is what always that I think so special about the Bobby one. Like
Yeah.
the Bobby one is just amazing, isn't it?
It's
It's
class.
absolutely amazing.
I did think it was going to be nearer to Shearer's than it is, if that makes sense. Like more.
I think it was
What do
just
you
a
mean?
case where there wasn't anywhere to put it.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean Shearer's statue would be closer to Shearer's?
Aye.
Oh, right, I got you.
There's nowhere else to put it where the land that the club owned, because I thought a great place would have been opposite. So the opposite of the gallery,
yeah.
where you got the billboards, where that
Oh, yeah.
where, similar where the food bank
Where
is.
the food
Yep.
bank is,
I thought
Yeah.
that'd be mint, like in that direction, like looking onto the Gallowgate. But obviously that must be
Council
that's
land
that
as well,
land
isn't it?
there.
That's
Yeah.
the yeah.
But yeah,
I'm happy that it's close to Bobby's like person. I think it's
Yeah.
nice.
no, I
touch.
like it. It does.
We'll have one at Eddie Howe in about 30 years.
3.
When he's dead.
Well, I was going to say he might be having it. He has to be
3.
dead. So.
3. She's not dead. He's got a statue.
I know, that's fine.
Oh,
You can have a statue.
Oh, yeah, right.
The statue, so they can have
They're not allowed to
statues.
stand.
Oh, that's-
Have they got to be? Have they got to be retired
Sorry,
when they get a statue? Or can they
Yes.
still be
Yeah.
involved as employees?
No, got to be retired.
And dead for a stand.
Yeah.
So do you still
A
do you
memorial.
think next season when we come back it's still going to be the East Stand? Yeah, nothing changing there. No remarkable changes happening. In that
I hope it's not
regard?
like the Riyadh. Imagine the fucking
But
fallout.
the Riyadh Mahrez stand.
Yeah, Mahrez stand high.
Big strange
I
stand.
I didn't even
I
think of that,
wouldn't
actually, aye.
be surprised
Saudi
if,
golf stand.
if you get a renaming of the stand after somebody like Keegan.
Gotta be, man. Gotta
Yeah.
be. After
Yes,
the
or I'll
man.
remain.
Wouldn't be my choice, like.
Still
Right.
alive.
We're going to sign this one off. Thanks, everybody who has joined us tonight. Been a pleasure as always. We will be back at some point next week, probably next Monday.
I
for-
won't.
Oh, you're away.
I'm not here
What
next
will be
Monday.
here, so it'll be even better.
Big one.
Somebody else might be here, or it
Somebody
might
else
just be
might
three
be here.
people.
Yeah, it might just be the 3. But anyway, thanks very much, everybody. Been a pleasure. If you do want to like the video as well, that would be great. Become a member as well. Help us out a little bit. And
Press the like button now. When you're here, you're watching. Just look down below the screen. It's about there. Just press it.
do that again. Oh, I think it is about there.
It's about there where I am on the screen.
Yeah.
Just give it that little thumbs up button.
Thanks, everybody. See you later.
Love you. Bye.
Bye.